Yeah, today was kind of a weird day for me. I entered the Spanish class in fairly good spirits, and certainly felt tired this morning, as I mentioned in the other video that I recorded. Well, the one previous to this, I didn't get much sleep, so I certainly felt a little bit tired, but I've not been incredibly fatigued or anything like that, where I couldn't think straight as such. But certainly, and entered the class kind of confidently and positively, and to be honest, felt very comfortable in raising questions, answering questions, etc. But I encountered a huge amount of anxiety in one situation, and I actually, I feel like I've taken a step backwards really, because I didn't do anything about it. Felt anxiety and didn't combat it in any way whatsoever. I put myself in a position to, and then didn't. In fact, I think it started with, so there was a point in the class where, in the first class of the day of the two, where we were in groups, and the teacher said to basically nominate someone to do to present the answers from our group. And obviously no one tends to put their hands up in this situation, and I didn't. And I thought, and the reason was, I don't know, the thought flashed quickly through my mind was that I'd need to stand up in front of class at the board, and I'd potentially make a mistake in front of everyone. And so, I then half convinced myself that this was, the reason I didn't volunteer was because I couldn't really be bothered. But of course I couldn't be bothered because there was a potential for me to get in an anxious situation. So anyway, I didn't put my hand up, and it was just fucking simple. It's basically, it turned out to be just reading out the answers that we had on a piece of paper, which was absolutely, such an easy thing to do. It wouldn't have been an anxious situation at all. But yeah, I shied away from that. I have no idea why, because I wouldn't have done in previous days. I'm going to attribute it to a lack of sleep, and thus, slightly more frail nerves than usual. Then, so that sort of set the tone there. I mean, it didn't stop me contributing in class or anything like that, but it was certainly a small amount of anxiety that I felt in the moment, and I didn't do anything to combat it. So that's a minor disappointment, but one that can be easily addressed. The next one can also be easily addressed, but this was huge. Essentially, the teacher in the second class, I think she's quite attractive, and essentially, I knew she had a boyfriend a couple of weeks ago when I was last in one of the classes, and so that was it. Just nice to her, just talk to her, just as a normal person, normal friend type thing. But today she mentioned in class to the whole class that she'd split up with her boyfriend, and so then I was thinking, let's do something about this. I mean, there's a chance. I think she's pretty and she's attractive and lovely personality, so why not ask her out? Well, this caused me quite a lot of stress. I mean, first of all, doing it in Spanish certainly would give rise to it to a certain degree, far more than if I could say it in English. And actually I could ask in English, but it's bizarre. While I'm in that building, it's you don't speak any English. It would feel kind of weird, and I'd almost feel like I was cheating or a cop-out if I did speak in English. So I had to do it in Spanish. The other thing is, really getting her on her own to ask her, because, I don't think it'd be appropriate to ask her out in class in front of 10 people. I'm not sure that I'd have the cojones to do that, because, that would be, if she said no, I'm sure she'd probably feel uncomfortable herself. If she said no, then I'm going to kind of look stupid in front of 10 or 12 people, and I've got to sit in a class with these for another week or so, thought, yeah, I need to get her on her own. So what I did, I waited behind in class, and then we started talking, and then I was like, essentially just like really aware that people were sort of like around me and walking around. This wasn't like the room was empty, but the door was open and people were just walking past the door and congregating outside the door. It's quite a small little foyer area, and so we were just talking a little bit, and basically I could have asked her then. There was definitely potential for it, and I didn't. I basically sort of like skirted around the issue and asked her like if she had any recommendations about good places to go for lunch and where did she go for lunch. I mean, I was kind of hinting at it, but I should have just come out with it. But fuck, the amount of anxiety I felt in that moment. And we sort of like sauntered out into the foyer area, and then there were loads of people around. Like we were kind of in the classroom alone, let's say, for about 10 seconds, and I don't know, just an anxious situation for me. And I could have come out with it quite easily, even if it was in front of other pupils, and I should have done, because, well, I should be practicing what I preach, and the thing that I'm preaching is you feel that anxiety and you do it anyway. So I mean, it's just sort of very disappointing. But I felt highly stressed and anxious. I've not felt like that for quite a while. And far more, I mean, I do like it, so I guess there's something quite large at stake, but just I'm certainly attributing some of it to a lack of sleep. I really don't expect that I should have felt like that. Like some nerves, yeah, but nothing to that degree. So anyway, kind of a disappointment. I should have initially volunteered. That'd have set me up nicely. I'd have felt like I'd done something positive and combated anxiety in that sense, and they'd probably set me up and allowed me to continue with the second bigger issue, which was asking a Spanish teacher out in Spanish in a sort of like busy school foyer, which it was pretty beastly. I mean, but I really shouldn't let that kind of thing bother me. I mean, anyway, tomorrow is definitely another day. I'm going to get some sleep tonight, and I'll just simply ask her tomorrow. I guess it'll have to be a similar kind of tactic, sort of like hang around like fucking bad smell in the class, and then when everyone's gone, just essentially ask her if she'd like to go for a drink sometime. I mean, it's pretty easy. It's not a difficult phrase to utter in Spanish. I could practice right now. ¿Te gustaría tomar un café otra vez? No, alguna vez. ¿Te gustaría tomar un café alguna vez conmigo? ¿Sí? ¿Ahora? Yeah. No sé, pero es posible que necesito un poco más práctica, pero en realidad es muy fácil. I just need to ask her, simply. It's not going to be a problem. Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. Just got something that I can think about all evening now, and I don't know. It's just bizarre. Anyway, I'll get it sorted tomorrow.